Hi, everyone. We are live. My name is Darren Cook. I'm the architect of Empathetic Systems, and I'm joined here with the amazing Jenna Lynch from Donor Box. Basically, today, let's get right into it for our amazing audience. So, we're talking about how to pretty much stop the digital burnout. Now, Jenna, I have my tea because I want to have a nice casual conversation with some actual advice. Oh, you
Cheers.
have yours too? And really talk about what we can do to really help these nonprofit
Mm,
leaders and founders who are listening not feel so overwhelmed, because I talk to them so many times and it's the same story wherever you are in the country. If you're in New Orleans, if you're here in Atlanta, if you're in Dallas or LA, they all say we have so many options. There's
yeah.
so many tools with AI, Chat GPT, Gemini, Copilot, AI agents, but how do we make tech for good
Mhm.
any good for any of us? Can we
Yes.
start there and get your take?
Yeah. I'll say you're not alone in the overwhelm if you're listening, right? I hear this every week, and the team, who does coaching here, they hear it too, right? And people are saying like we're everywhere, we're using everything, but we are exhausted. Like, and I
Absolutely.
get it, like especially year end, right? This is when everyone is trying to hit their biggest goals, uh, and but this is also when burnout peaks, y'all.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You've got your donor appeals, your board meetings, your events, your reports and all the systems that are making that happen, happening all at once, right? It's like,
Yes.
and then maybe you open Instagram and you see another nonprofit is launching like a 12-day video series and you're like, "Oh, should we be doing that too?" Right? And then you're adding this onto your list of things, that you need to be doing and maintaining, and I think that's why I love this topic, and thank you, first of all, for inviting me to chat about this. I think that doing less and using less isn't about caring less,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Right? It's about being intentional, and we talk about intentionality a lot, you and I. I feel like,
That's so
it's
good.
right? It's about focus and
Absolutely.
systems that can help you focus. You cannot do everything,
No.
but you can do the right things really, really well. So when you focus your energy on the right things that actually support you, you're going to raise more because your systems get clearer, your processes get clearer, your messages get clearer.
Mhm.
And not only does it help you, but it also helps your donors feel that
Mhm.
consistency,
Mhm.
right? So maybe there was a question in there for me, and I don't know
No,
if
no,
I
no.
answered
You're
it.
doing a great
Um,
job.
I could nerd out all day long, but all that to say is you are not alone in feeling the overwhelm and the burnout. But there is such a clear way through it, I think.
Yes, yes. And just to piggyback on what you said, I see two hashtag graphics that may come across your LinkedIn feed next week. And give it credit to Jenna, but basically, hashtag you are not alone and hashtag clarity over confusion. So that's the main takeaway. Just because there's so many options, we live in a society where there's billions of options. Just because there's an option available to you does not mean it's the best option for you and your organization.
Mhm.
Less is truly more. And I love what you said, Jenna. Just because you do less does not mean you care any less. I think that's golden. So, my next thing was pretty much because we're talking to nonprofit leaders, and it's the two things they're running on passion and fumes.
Mhm.
They feel overlooked, they feel underestimated, they're feeling overwhelmed.
Yep.
They're told that technology is the answer, but it often feels cold, complex, and built for someone else. So before I jump in and talk about what an empathetic system is, I would love from your standpoint to just share some, like, because I know you're working with so many people with donor box, an amazing job you're doing. You're killing it with the webinars. I'm just like, one day I'll grow up to be like Jenna
Oh, stop
with
it.
everything you're doing, which I love and admire. But just tell me from your standpoint the cold and complex thing, because in reason why I'm saying that, we hear the buzzword tech for good so much. But I really feel like, and this could be an unpopular opinion, Jenna, that what good is tech for good if it's not doing any of us any good?
Right.
So
Yes.
I'll stop talking and please chime in.
Yeah. when I think, and this is such a clever way to put it, Darren, when you say cold and complex systems, right? Um, I think when I talk to folks, it feels like your tools and your processes are disconnected. Like they're technically doing the job, but there's maybe no human touch. Maybe
Yes.
you're just clicking buttons or they're overly complicated, right? Lots of
Yes.
steps, lots of logins, not much payoff. And I have led with this anecdote for a long time. I mean, years and years ago when I was working for a nonprofit here in Atlanta, and we were using systems that were put in place in the 70s
Mm.
when the organization was founded. And at that point, I was still learning the nonprofit sector, and I didn't think to ask but why
Mhm.
very often, and it's like, well, that's the way it's always been done. And when it came to having to pull reports for basic things for a board meeting or for an impact report, I would actually cry.
Oh,
I would cry because it
wow.
would get so overwhelming. I didn't know where to go in the program, if the data was accurate, right? And there would be a point where I would ask my amazing admin assistant, "Please, please do this for me before I lose my mind." And
Yes.
no tool should ever make you feel that way, but
No.
I have talked to so many people where they're just not happy with their systems, and I can understand that switching can be a big task.
Mhm.
Uh, but why are you putting yourself through it, right? A little bit of elbow grease really helps you in the long run. You should be feeling good about your tools. They should not be creating more work for you. You should be able to see impact without digging through data. And
Absolutely.
the right system should make you feel lighter, not
Yes.
heavier,
Yes.
right? Um,
Yes.
and I guess cold systems make you work for them, whereas warm systems work for you,
Yes. Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. And if I may, if I just chime in just a
Mhm,
little bit, I love what you said. I think that's a perfect segue. Because I know people are probably saying, okay, what does an empathetic system mean? That's the $1 million question. For me, in no jargon, I like to just give the cold facts and not make it confusing.
mhm.
It basically means my company, M3 Media, My Mobile Media, we build systems, digital ecosystems that where we put the end user first. So just like you were saying, when
Yes.
you worked with the nonprofit here in Atlanta and the systems were built in the 70s, God rest whoever did it, God bless them. Um, but we're the anti to that. We're the
Mhm,
solution to the cold complex. So whatever we're building, whatever nonprofit, and we work with nonprofits all over the country, love what I do, deeply passionate. It's very important to understand your mission, what you're trying to achieve, and build a clear roadmap. I mean, we do that through the empathetic systems that are warm, that make you feel inspired and give you time back instead of you feeling uninspired and really don't want to be there.
I love that you focus on this empathetic system, and to be honest, I don't know if I've ever heard anybody word it the way
Oh,
you
thank
have,
you.
and it speaks so deeply to me, and I'm sure it speaks so deeply to your clients and anybody
Mhm.
who's, in it right now, right? Like, you're anticipating your needs, it's helping you save time, and it helps you show up, right?
Yes, yes.
More like, better in your mission with care and consistency, right? And I'd say in the nonprofit world, when you're thinking about fundraising, for
Mhm,
example,
mhm,
um, empathy, when we think of that word, is like how we treat donors, how we treat the community that we're serving.
mhm.
And that's how our tools should treat us too, right? Like a truly empathetic system um, just makes you feel good and it makes your job easier, not
Yeah.
harder.
Yes.
And for me personally, it's a system that automates the repetitive stuff, the
Yes.
receipts, the data updates, the reports, um, all those good things. So you can work on those things that you love to do, the storytelling, the building connections, right?
Absolutely. And we do have a question from Jill. She was saying she's a one person shop. I know that oh so well, Jill. And capital campaign duties. Can you chime in just a little bit more about, and I'll just try to elaborate, but basically, I think that segue into Jill, if you give us a little bit more context, I really want to drill into how we can help you. But Jen, if we can just tell the audience 3 ways they can do less and raise more, and I can give you the 3 ways, and then you chime in if you want to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know me, I am a formula person.
Yes.
I
Yes.
have
Yes.
to have a formula for everything. First of all, so I can remember it. It helps me teach it better. I'm If I don't have my caffeine, I'm all over the place. Well, actually, if I have too much caffeine, I'm all over the place. So I always have a formula. I have a 3C formula for a lot of things.
Mm.
And for this in particular, I have a 3C audit system,
Oh,
right? So that
okay.
is your channels,
Okay.
your
Channel.
content, and your capacity,
Oh, I love that channel
right? And
capacity.
that's where I always start before even talking about raising more money,
Mm.
because while yes, we all want to raise more money, and there are plenty of ways to do that, you need to make sure that your systems are equipped to do that, right? So I'd
Yes.
say we're talking about reducing your digital burnout, your overload, right? So I would say start there, right? So the 3C audit, you start by mapping every single channel that your organization uses, all of them. Like, right? I know, like, we use Monday, we use Slack, we use, whatever that is, even for your, whether it's accounting, QuickBooks or
Yes.
Mailchimp or, and Darren, I'm sure this is your bread and butter, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
listing, and that's what I'd say to do. List everything you're using, and it's probably a
Yes.
lot
It's a
more.
lot. Your tech stack can be outrageous, but the other
Yes.
side to that too, a lot is a curse. A lot
Hmm.
is a curse. It needs, and if I may too, just to
Yep.
interject my thoughts in it, because I agree with you and I love the 3 C's. I would say, and this could be an unpopular opinion, and give me pushback, Jenna, if you don't agree. I would say nonprofit leaders need no more than 2 to 3 good fundamental systems. If you have more than 3, then it's overkill. Okay, Gia,
Yeah.
she's prospecting, marketing, materials, planning, campaign events, separate from our okay. Okay. I'll do that. But let me just finish China. And Jill, I have you in just a second.
Mhm.
Um, yes. So I would say, Jenna, narrow down your systems. Like if you're using the very first one, and Gio, this is for you too. The very first place, if you're doing prospecting, marketing materials, planning campaign events, separate from the special event of the year that you're doing that was last month, and I'm pretty sure it went well. I want to hear about it. I would say the first place to start, Jill, if you do not have, is creating a CRM. A CRM is a
Mhm.
client customer relationship management tool. It's one place and it's your single source of truth. It could be Monday.com. It can be Asana. You're welcome, Jill. It could be Monday.com. It could be
Yeah.
Asana. We want to get away. I'm saying this with love, guys. Hold my hand. We want to get away from like Google spreadsheets, because the thing about it, we're everybody on this call, we do not have a lack of passion. We want to
Mhm.
save the entire world, and I'm right there with you guys. But learning from me, trust me, I'm giving you actionable advice from my own life and my lesson learned, so you don't have to do it. It's impossible to scale or to even bring anyone on, even the limited capacity, if you do not have your fundamentals and your basics ironed out. So everything, like I'll give you an example. If you're doing donations or you're using that, awesome, and give me
Yes.
feedback, because I can see your comments, Jill. Um, I'll give an example why it's important for those nonprofit leaders who are listening. If you're doing everything manually, Jenna, and just say if I have a nonprofit, and Jenna Lynch has been my one of my donors for the last 2 years. If I'm
Mhm.
doing everything manually, it's not really telling the full story. You can be giving me $200 every month, um, but I need to say, okay, Jenna, or one of those donors is one of those donors who's contributed over $1,500. So I may need to pick up the phone and show her some love versus someone else who may give here and there. Or I can say, okay, in my CRM, and a lot of these platforms are free starting out and they will grow as you scale. It may be, okay, in my CRM, let me see the last time I actually reached out. When is Jenna's birthday? People connect with people. What is
Mhm.
her interest? Is she in person? Does she come to any of our in person events? So I would say definitely start with a CRM. Another tool that we use, of course, is like Slack. I believe you all at DonorBox use Slack, like we use at Impre for communication. It keeps us organized. But I would say if you're using more than seven or more platforms, you need digital clarity, no more than two,
Mhm.
three. I have nonprofit leaders that I work with all the time who've cut their software stack. They save money, increase their donations just by reducing their confusion
Yes.
and doing more. But Jack's like what you said, Jenna, you can still do more with less. When you sit down and have clarity and really map out everything and build like a clear system, it's a game changer.
Mhm. I agree. I agree with that, and, I'll go back to Jill really quick if you're
Yeah.
still on. Like Aaron said, the holy grail is the CRM, right? It's great that you're using one of those already. Um, and this maybe isn't so much about the tech systems, but about your working systems. I always say document once and reuse often, right? So build your templates, your emails, your sponsor packets, your thank you notes so that you are not reinventing the wheel every single time, right? Um, Batch your work, right? Like pick one day for outreach, one day for marketing prep, one day for follow ups. It's so easy to bing, 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 bing. And it can be so exhausting. I say this, I have 32 emotional support tabs open on my computer right now.
Same.
If you can avoid that, I think it becomes less overwhelming. And then this is what we're talking about now. Automate what you can, even
Yes.
your thank yous, your updates, your receipts that can buy back hours
Yes.
of your
Yes. Yes.
time, right? So, and it all goes back to that audit process, right? It really does. Map everything that you're using, rate it,
Mhm.
right? How is it serving you? How is it serving you? And then look at your data if you can, right? If you're using a system like, think about like where did your donations actually come from last year? Because most of the time it's really only one or two channels driving everything, and it's
Mhm.
usually email, maybe it's your website. So the goal is not to use everything and be everywhere, it's to show up where it counts. I will say two, the number two that you get, 2 to 3, oh, that's tough. And I trust you when you say that. Um, I'd be curious to know if a nonprofit had to reduce down to 2 or 3 systems beyond your CRM, what it would actually
And
what
and let's
yeah.
and let me say this, Jenna, just and I'm so glad you said it for clarification. 2 to 3 would be your fundamental ones to
Mhm,
build upon. So the two
mhm,
or three I would say would definitely be like a CRM, Monday.com, Asana, one of those robust systems that won't really cost you a lot. Of course,
yeah,
Klaviyo email for automation. And I think we may need to do a special LinkedIn just to show people how to set up like a welcome series or a welcome flow.
yeah.
Good,
Oh,
you
yeah.
a
We need to do
nonprofit
it.
leader, a lot of those repetitive emails that you send, as soon as if someone comes to your website, sign up for your email list, they can already receive a series of emails over 3 days, over five
Mhm,
days, and it's true storytelling. So it may be, hey, I'm Darren. I started this nonprofit because I'm really passionate about X, Y, and Z. I get that immediately.
mhm.
In 2 days, I may get one that say, okay, these are the stakeholders who we've helped so this is why donations are important and we're a 501c3. A week later, I might send something to say if you want to be an ambassador or volunteer of anything. So I would say start with project management for one. The second one would be some type of email automation that you can streamline. And the third one will be a communication tool. But
Yeah,
those three for the fundamentals, once you have those down, you can scale. Because the thing about it, and I caution people, if you're a pro and you feel like you have this, then of course everybody's to each his own. But I caution people because when you have so many in that scattered focus, you can't
yes.
really do anything well.
Yep,
So that's why I'm trying to save them. So I caution on the side of caution to try to not have so many. But of course, if you need more, because we all use way more than three, but I don't want them to overdo it if they're just trying to get a grasp on the digital transformation.
yeah. Yeah, I feel that, and I'm there with you. I think the questions I would ask myself if I was kind of trying to decide where to focus, right? Does it help us raise or retain more money? right?
Mhm,
Does
mhm.
this save us time, and do we use it weekly,
Yes.
right? And if it's not a yes to at least one, I would say let it go.
Yes.
And that's one exercise alone that you can give to your team that will give you hours back, I think.
Yes. 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 And one thing too, I would add to this, it's more of like it's not really a checklist to add to this, but it's just like something to keep to the back of your mind. It's important to protect your energy. And this is an
Mhm.
unpopular, but can I just be honest right here? I love
Yep.
to be honest. Even though we may have 7 or 8 hours of the day, Jenna,
Mhm.
I really believe we only have maybe three, give or take, four, take away an hour, good hours of deep work and focus. We don't have
Yeah.
8 hours a day undivided. Now, those who are looking at me side eye, your job, you're not working 8 hours a day like I know you. You know what I mean? You take an hour for lunch and everything. So you really have 2 to 3 hours. But it's important because with those 2 to 3 hours, Jenna, you can really achieve amazing results if you have the clarity and the focus.
Mhm.
You really can. So that's why I want to show. And just like you were saying too, if you have certain days where you're posting content, I believe if it's not on my calendar, it won't happen. So in
Exactly.
Google Calendar, yeah, Google Calendar, block out those times, Tuesdays and Thursdays, to say, okay, I'm going to focus on content. I'm going to focus on donor engagements. I'm going to focus on culture or anything, or even like on Wednesdays, I always block off time for me time for
Yep.
whatever I need to do. I have to have quiet time as a leader to be able to just have my own thoughts
Yes.
for deep thinking. You know what I mean? Because a lot of
Yes.
times when I'm on back to back calls and everything, I'm scatterbrained. So those are just like the things that I felt like that's really helped me. And Jill, let me see what she said. I use automation. Jill, I'm curious, what type of automation do you use too? I love the engagement.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is a good segue too, right? So we've talked about kind of like trimming down the tools that you're using, right?
Yes.
Deciding whether it's a yes or a no. And once you have those things that are left from that audit, essentially, you have to connect them. They need
Yes.
to talk to each other, right? This
That's
is the
right.
automation part, right? It's about tying things together, because disconnected tools create busy work, right?
Absolutely.
And like you said, when things talk to each other, when there's good automations, it does the work for you, or it creates momentum in some way, right? When it's working well, I'd say it looks like a donation, automatically adds a record to your CRM. And then your donor instantly gets a thank you, or they're tagged for a follow up message next week. And then your marketing platform knows to include them in the next campaign, right? And it should all happen from the moment they give to bing, 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 bing. Now they're on your email list. Now
Yes.
they're in that journey, that series. So I'd say look at the platforms you have left once
Yes.
you've done that critical audit, right? And see how you can tie them together, right? Your donor records, your receipts. And then I would like to hear your thoughts on this, Darren. I zap a lot of things. I use
Okay.
Zapier for lots of things for different flows.
Mhm.
How would you typically advise your clients, or do you, to use Zapier to make things talk to each other and play nice with each other?
No, Zapier is wonderful in moderation. Because like
Mm,
our like we if we're building a complex system where it may be you using a WordPress website for your nonprofit, and we're building an integration fully customized into like Monday.com.
mhm.
So of course the data needs to convert in real time from whatever website you're using to Monday. So I would say would Make or Zapier, any of those platforms, you can use them, Jenna, but the caution is when you have so much in a system, it can slow the system down.
Mhm,
So I
mhm.
would say for those people who are looking at automating things, I would say let's have a conversation. If you go to our website, m3.media, you can find time to talk to me. But I would say that's good, especially if you're familiar with. But I wouldn't have 50 different zabs. You know what I mean? You kind
Yeah.
of
Oh,
need
yeah.
a custom solution. But I think there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I think I agree with that, and
Mhm.
I think it comes down to the right CRM more than anything, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And DonorBox, for example, shameless plug here, our new CRM is coming soon, and those connections are really tight, right? It's gonna include that built-in email marketing, so mass email marketing, automations, conversations, and all those, job to be done
Mhm,
things, right?
mhm,
All those
mhm.
reminders, all those tasks, all in one place. So ideally, you're not having to zap things together, right?
Yes,
It's a system that works for you. And even if you're not using DonorBox, the goal is still the same, right? You want to get a system that does good work for you, and then get your other systems talking, right?
mhm, mhm.
Um, and something I've been thinking a lot about because I've been in this position, the tech is a big part of it, right? That is a little bit of elbow grease, or the right partners in it, like M3, can really set that up for you. But I'd say the last part of this is not just your tech systems, but your human systems. So, like,
Yeah,
empowering your team, making sure that your team is trained, because even if the best system fails, um, or even the best system fails if only one person knows how to use it, right? Like, heavens forbid that one person is on vacation, right? And you need something done, you can't log in or something's not working, your team should be empowered to be able to use these systems. So I'd say we're already in the thick of it with year end, but before things really ramp up, I would say spend 30 minutes walking through your tech with your team. Show people how to find the donor data, how to pull a report, how to fix a tag, how to send a message, how to log the important things. Um, because this one habit will save so much stress later. Do not make yourself the end all be all to your systems working.
that is so good. And I just to piggyback on that, we're so in sync because everything you're saying, I was like, is she in my brain? Get out of my head. But I think that's good. And Jill, we actually use Buffer too. So Buffer is amazing to
Mhm.
schedule
I
your
like buffer.
content.
Yep.
Yeah, you can schedule all your social media content. You can really do it 2 hours out of the month. You can streamline your whole month, but we can have another class about that. I think that's amazing. But Jenna, what was the last thing you said? I lost my train of thought, but I wanted to piggyback on what you were saying.
Yeah, so training your team, right? Spending 30 minutes, I'd say this well, what's today? Is today Thursday? Okay, so
Yeah.
next week, dedicate 30 minutes to training your team, right? So
That's
you're not the end all be all to your tech working.
Yes, and it's so good. And just to piggyback on that, I know when you're the founder, or when you're the leader, and you
Mhm.
created something, especially from nothing, it's so easy to hold on something so tight because it's your baby, and you feel like nobody's gonna love your baby like you. Trust me, I get it. I'm preaching to the choir. I'm more than sure. But if you want to not even scale your impact, Jen. If you want to have a life outside of your mission,
Mhm.
you have to delegate.
Yeah.
SOPs, your operation, your procedures and everything you're doing. You need to document your operations, everything you're doing. It can be a document. It doesn't have to even look pretty, but you need to have some way of training. Another
A
way that we
rhythm.
usually do, another hack, that's a really good tool. Loom videos are
Mhm.
amazing. Loom videos are, you can do screen recordings of everything. So if I'm in monday.com, and of course I will have a nice guide showing like the process, how to log in, everything. It's always a good added bonus. This is like the cherry on top for people.
Yeah.
Record a Loom video because we're all busy. We don't really have time to read 50 pages all the time. Or if we need
Yeah.
to go back to the repository where the SOPs are, we can. But if it's a quick Loom video, oh, I can see boom, boom, boom here. It saves us time and I can clearly see. Look, I'm a visual learner. I'll be honest. I don't
Yeah.
know about
Me
you,
too. I
but
am.
I need to see, like, if I'm putting something together, I want to see the pictures. So
Yes.
that's the
Oh, have
Loom
to.
version. Yeah, the Loom version is the uh answer to that. Loom.com, but I highly recommend Loom.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a great tip. Not a lot of folks know about Loom, I don't think. I've used it here and there, but when I have, I've been, so grateful
Yeah.
that I have, right? again, a little bit of work on the front end to
Mhm,
get this done,
mhm.
but so worth it, right? I think October, and I use this analogy a lot. I feel like we're standing at the bottom of a hill and we're watching the train come down.
Yes.
And so you gotta prep and be really, really critical about your processes, about your systems, about your rhythm, right? Now's the time to do it, and you're gonna feel really good about it at year end when you're, you know, refocusing and, looking at this through, that lens of seeing what really serves you and how it can serve you better and how you can serve yourself better too, so
Yes.
that you can serve your community better. It's just this beautiful snowball effect, and you've gotta start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So I'd say out of anything, that is probably the biggest tip is help others help you.
Yes. Yes. And Jenna, because I know we're getting ready to wrap things up, but really quickly, if you don't mind, for the nonprofit leader who may be feeling just a little bit not quite at the defeat marker, but
Mhm.
right now we're facing just such a difficult time. Funding, is a mess. A lot of the resources, especially financial resources that nonprofit leaders thought they would have, has not arrived yet. Don't know if it's going to arrive. Don't know if they're going to even be around, to be honest. What's something you would tell them just to kind of keep them encouraged?
Yeah, um, I think I've said this a lot lately. If you are struggling right now, if you're feeling deflated or anxious or nervous, you are not alone, right? I mean, at Connect ATL, just was it
Yeah,
last week or the week before?
yeah, yes.
We talked about resiliency, and this sector especially is so resilient, right?
Mhm,
I know
yeah,
that every leader I've talked to is stretched thin. You are doing important work, even on the days where it feels like you're barely keeping up.
mhm,
Start by giving yourself permission to
mhm.
simplify.
I
You
love that.
do not have to do everything, just the things that matter most, right? So those small, consistent steps. Um, when you were running on fumes, um, y lean on others,
Mhm, mhm,
lean on the things that make it easier, not harder,
mhm.
um, and progress beats perfection every
Yes,
single time. Like you said, people give to people, people
yes,
connect with people. You are just a human. You're doing this sacred work. It's okay to pause.
yes,
It's okay to breathe, and it's okay to rebuild at a sustainable pace. So, do not mistake rest for weakness, I'd
yes.
say. It's part of the rhythm, right? And it's all part of what keeps your mission alive, so hang in there.
I love you passing the offering plate. Can I put my $2 in?
Yeah.
That's so good. But no, I would say I love the fact that you said you don't have to do it alone. And you know what? When you were wrapping up and you were saying the strategic pause, what I learned, Jenna, and I come from overthinking, trying to do everything myself, being prideful, not asking for help,
I've
asking
been
for
there.
help a little too late when I should have
Mhm.
asked 6 months ago. I'm work in progress. Um, but what I realized when I do take a moment of pause, like on Wednesdays, sort of my rest day, quote rest day,
Mhm.
um, I get so much clarity of the next move when I stop. When
Yes.
I'm doing back to back Zoom calls and running around and posting on LinkedIn, I'm able to think, but it's not when I have those quiet times. Like if I'm sitting in a sauna, I'm sitting
Yes.
aside at the gym, or if I'm riding the bike or something, or taking my dog for the walk, I'm able to do such good thinking with clarity. So
Mhm.
I would say it's okay. I invite you. I invite you every week to block off, even if it's an hour a day,
Yes.
because what I'm saying is you cannot afford not to rest. Burning
Yes.
out is not the solution because, like you said, we're in fourth quarter now. We're wrapping things up. Holidays coming. We have family and friends, presents, all of the madness. Trying to grow impact. Get your last bit of fundraising. Getting ready for Giving Tuesday, which we'll have another uh, live. You and I on the
We sure
23rd.
do.
And about that. But it's important really to take the rest and pause. And one thing I would say, and I see it time and time again. And I think I'm gonna be an old man. You're gonna be helping me with my wheelchair. I'm gonna be this old man talking. But what I want to say is I think we all, Jenna, do ourselves such a disservice by trying to be perfect. And I'm going to
Yeah.
say an analogy. Forgive me, it's a little bit, probably a little cheesy, a little cringe, but I'm going to say it anyway. I always tell people I'm okay with being a beginner, but I say it in this way. I'm okay with being iPhone 1. And
Mm.
what I mean by it, I the first iPhone came out, I believe, in 2007, I believe. If you remember, the iPhone was amazing. It was revolutionary. It had all type of cool features. It was crushing the competition. Fast forward now, October 2025, what we have the iPhone 16. I don't know, I'm still on the
I
12.
don't even know.
But we have the iPhone 16 out. So many of us in every component of our life, not just nonprofit and doing our work, every component. We're so afraid of looking cringe because we want to go in, Jenna, being iPhone 16,
Yeah.
and that will hold us back from everything in our lives.
Mhm.
Believe me, it's okay to be iPhone 1.
Yep.
iPhone 1 was amazing. Be iPhone 1, learn from your mistakes, be iPhone 2. So when you get to be iPhone 16, which you will if you just keep going
Yep.
and have clarity, you will be just as amazing. But you're doing yourself such a disservice by, for one, comparing your journey to anyone. That's a definite no no. Everybody's on their own unique
Mhm.
journey in trying to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. Some days I feel like I know what I'm doing. Some days I feel like I'm just as much as a hot mess as the next one, to be honest. And
Same.
that's okay because I'm authentic and I lead with my authenticity. I'm not trying to be anyone other than me. Being true, I know what I know. I'm passionate about what I do. And we're all on a journey to get better, but do not try to be perfect. No one is
Yep.
perfect. You set yourself up for failure that way.
I agree. Progress beats perfection, as I always
Yes.
say. Yeah, that's a good analogy. I don't even know how
Thank
to unlock my
you.
iPhone sometimes, so
Yeah, so that's why and I always tell myself too, whether if it's public speaking or putting myself out there more or anything, it's always just like, Darren, it's okay to be iPhone 1. It's okay to be a beginner.
Yep.
That's how we grow, right? That's how we grow. We grow out of our comfort zone. And we can never be a master at anything if we don't be a beginner. How would I be a master if I haven't tried?
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Exactly. It's, simplify it, right? You don't have to do so much.
No.
Simplify it to amplify it, I guess, you
Yes,
know?
I love that. Simplify to amplify. I love that.
But this
So,
has been fun. What else, Darren?
yes, yes. So wrap up. I know we have like 5 minutes before we have to go. So I'll let you start. Any final thoughts? How can people get in contact with you? How can they learn more about the amazing things you and DonorBox doing? And just one thing too, I was on the website today. I signed up for the wait list for the CRM. So as soon as it drops, I want to
Yes.
know about it. I want to be there with the live testing and all of those good things.
Yes, yes. Well, so for those of you who have not heard about DonorBox, we are a fundraising platform that focuses on recurring, sustainable giving. Right. These are systems that help you and your fundraising keep it simple, and it helps your donors. Right, inspires your
Mhm.
donors and keeps them around longer and giving more. We have in person and online giving options now, especially at year end. Having something like a simple giving kiosk at one of your events really goes a long way in nurturing generosity and being able to capture it in the moment. So now's the time as you're auditing your systems, look at what your fundraising systems are doing, right? Are they helping you? Are they set up to steward your giving season donors into the new year so that you can keep them longer? And if not, you can check us out at donorbox.org. We have standard pro and premium plans. Standard is free to sign up. We do not lock you into any contracts. You can create a campaign and start poking around today, and you can have unlimited campaigns. So that is one piece of it. And then we also believe that education is empowerment, right? Your systems are only as good as the people who are operating them. So you can, again, donorbox.go. donorbox.org, you can check out, we have a resources tab with an active nonprofit blog that we publish multiple blogs every single week with step-by-step guides, ultimate guides, inspirational stories. We also have a donor box library with free downloadable templates, including a Giving Tuesday playbook, which we can talk more about when we do our live in a couple of weeks. We have the nonprofit podcast where we publish podcast episodes every single week on practical, actionable advice that you can apply right away. And we have our YouTube channel with all of that good stuff rolled into video form. So uh, that's it. Check it out, donorbox.org.
Love it. And I'm not just saying this, I promise, because you're here. If you were not here, I would still say the same thing if you were not here. But Donor Box, I love working with just all of you. Jenna, you, Annie, Lindsay, the whole crew. Because it's very seldom that you find a true partner who you all know your stuff. That's no question. But the heart behind the mission, the people, the soul, I've never met more incredible people who it's like you are my people. Like even at Connect ATL with the live kiosk and Annie was showing just an amazing thing. It's electrifying energy. It's just you all get it. So I'm just so honored and so grateful to have, Donor Box and you guys on this journey with me truly. But
That's so kind. Well, right back at you. We're grateful. We're grateful for all that you do and all just who you are. You're just a beam, and you bring people together and you inspire people
I
through all the
try.
wonderful ways.
Right?
So
Thank you. But if you want to learn more too about me, follow me on LinkedIn if you're not, Darren Cook Jr. And my website is m3.media, mymogulmedia.com. We exist to help nonprofit leaders just like you grow your impact online, uh, create more awareness, raise more revenue, and really build the entire ecosystem for you. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling discouraged, take it from someone who built everything up from the ground up. So I've seen it all, I've experienced it all on a day to day. This is what we do. We're extremely passionate about it. And we just love to help, just help out nonprofit leaders like you.